Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Scorpio December 2017 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Well, anyway, people, first thing is, well, as far as December goes, the sun will be in Sagittarius from the 1st until the 21st. So the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So this could be a time where Scorpio puts a very strong concentration of energy and strong focus into perhaps expanding their horizons monetarily, going outside the box, so to speak, in terms of generating income. This could be focusing on a lot of exuberance and enthusiasm and improving one's self-esteem and self-worth as well. And really, and also it could be that Sagittarius-like things may figure strongly in one's values, more such as religion, philosophy, maybe even sports, maybe even getting outdoors more. Now, next thing, well, as far as December goes, the sun will be in Capricorn from the 21st until the 31st, so the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, well, Scorpio may put a lot of concentration of energy and focus on structured and disciplined communications, and even apply that really in activities, this strong structure and discipline activities connected with siblings, dealings with siblings if applicable, and with neighbors. It could be a strong concentration of energy and focus on responsibilities connected with siblings and or neighbors, perhaps also perhaps in taking care of maybe things connected with transportation, short journeys such as vehicles, and really in really taking care of those things with a really serious Capricorn like manner. So anyway, well, the next thing is the full moon will be in Gemini on December 3rd. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, well, this could be a time where Scorpio may simply become pretty much full, so to speak, of maybe spreading oneself too thin, perhaps in matters connected with shared resources such as business partnership, perhaps. This could be where where Scorpio might get tired and full, perhaps, of maybe a variety of debts. It could be debts to many different people. It also could be a culmination or completion of some writing or communication connected with an 8th house matter, such as astrology, the occult, supernatural, psychology, psychiatry. Anyway. Well, the next thing I want to talk about is the new moon will be in Sagittarius on December 18th, and the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, this could be about maybe making a new start with a lot of that Sagittarius-like expansiveness, enthusiasm, and optimism in something monetary. This could be about doing something new connected with religion, sports, the law, philosophy, traveling, the outdoors, and it might play a very strong role in one's values and maybe in one's, and it could impact perhaps the self-esteem and self-worth very strongly. So anyway, well, the next thing I want to talk about is Mercury will be in Sagittarius in December, so the second house again is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, this could be about perhaps a lot of philosophical communications, perhaps with people that are involved with what Scorpio is doing in terms of generating income. It could be at the person's job. This could be also communications that are very enthusiastic, very positive, very exuberant about one's self-worth and one's self-esteem, and thinking very positively and optimistically perhaps about improving one's financial acumen. Keep in mind that Mercury will be in retrograde motion from the 3rd until the 22nd in December, so there could be a very strong review, maybe a lot of reviewing, perhaps. I could be going back to perhaps philosophical discussions, religious discussions, perhaps with those people that might figure in Scorpio's monetary situation, such as the place where Scorpio is generating income and making money. So anyway, well, the next thing is Venus will be in Sagittarius from the 1st till the 25th as far as December goes, and the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, this could be a time where Scorpio perhaps enjoys a love of law. I mean, it could be philosophy, religion, sports even, and this might play a role perhaps in how Scorpio might feel about his or herself, Scorpio's self-esteem and self-worth. And it could also be, perhaps there could be an enjoyment in the things I mentioned, but also making money and generating income through that as well. Keep in mind, when you're talking about Venus and the second house involved, well, I mean, the second house, of course, is about generating income and monetary matters. Venus is about money. So even though one, I mean, is generally going to, I mean, when you're a place where you're generating income, of course, you're always generating money. But at the same time, when you have Venus involved on top of it, this could give, in some cases, I think, a little extra bonus. And you're talking about Sagittarius energy, which, of course, is very advantageous, could be very fortuitous. And Sagittarius is the sign of good luck, of course, being ruled by Jupiter. So anyway, well, the next thing is, as far as December goes, Venus will be in Capricorn from the 25th until the 31st, and the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, this could be about a lot of peaceful conversations and communications, but ones that are very where you show maybe a lot of discipline and that are very and peaceful at the same time. This could be, in some cases, if Scorpio is unattached, Scorpio may meet perhaps somebody, a potential or prospective significant other that could be a Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply embody those characteristics. And it could be someone in one's neighborhood or someone that is introduced to Scorpio by a sibling, if applicable, or someone Scorpio just simply meets on a short journey. Well, anyway, well, the next thing is Mars will be in Libra as far as December goes from the 1st until the 9th, and this could be a time, I mean, you're talking about the as far as that goes, the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, there could be a lot of acrimonious and contentious situations, perhaps involving Scorpio and people in their private life. It could be a lot of private battles and combat, so to speak. It could, keep in mind, though, that with Mars in Libra, I mean, this could be a lot of passive-aggressive like energy, where the battles will not necessarily be that combative or overly confrontational, but they can be ones where there's more, where the battles are more subtle, so to speak, where one, instead of outwardly disagreeing, may just simply go off on a tangent and change the subject, or not be compliant with one's request. Keep in mind, you're talking about Mars in the 12th house, so the energy might be a little bit depleted and dissipated at this time. This could also be about Scorpio maybe expressing putting a lot of energy into something Libra-like in solitude and seclusion, such as art. It could be something connected with beauty and fashion, such as doing fashion designing, some kind of artwork, such as drawing, painting, or sculpting. And something maybe even connected with the law. I mean, it could be just some research involved with things of a legal nature. And also keep in mind, 12th house is about our hidden adversaries. So this could be about doing a lot of maybe a lot of energy can be put into trying to weed out those hidden adversaries, which may actually be posing as friends, but with Libra involved, being very fair-minded and equitable about looking at and trying to see who the hidden adversaries are and who are the actual friends. Now, anyway, next thing is Mars will be in Scorpio as far as December goes, from the 9th until the 31st. So the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, well, Scorpio might show a lot more energy than usual. I mean, Scorpio's energy usually is pretty strong and powerful anyway, but it could even be more noticeable and Scorpio might be expressing even greater libido at this time than usual. I mean, and that's usually pretty good with Scorpio anyway. At this time, keep in mind that, I mean, Scorpio might have increased energy and vitality and stamina at this time, but it could also be a lot of energy that is fixated and obsessed, and it could be in whatever it is that Scorpio is applying that energy toward. It might be done with a lot of in a very obsessed and very fixated manner. So anyway, this could also be a time where Scorpio might come across a little bit more acerbic and a little bit more, a little bit angrier at this time than usual, a little bit more combative, and really there could be some more arguments for Scorpio at this time, but done with a lot of statements that are caustic, and the anger might be tied into Scorpio like jealousy as well. So anyway. And also keep in mind that Scorpio, especially if this is the actual ascendant and Mars is actually in one's natal first house, that Scorpio might be a little bit more, have more propensity for accidents at this time than usual because Mars is over that. Anyway, well, the next thing is Jupiter, of course, is still going to be in Scorpio. So the first house is what is emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time, well, this could simply expand a lot of Scorpio's characteristics, being Jupiter the planet of expansion. And I mean, Scorpio might even put on a few more pounds at this time because Jupiter does have that proclivity to expand, and especially true if we are talking about the actual first house in one's natal chart. Now, this could be a time too where Scorpio might show a little bit more of a jocular and ebullient side than usual, but the jokes might be somewhat subtle considering its Scorpio energy, and somewhat with a little bit of sarcasm and a little bit caustic. Scorpio might show more philanthropy during this time, but keep in mind too, this could be a very fortuitous time for Scorpio. And as I stated before, it could very well enlarge Scorpio-like characteristics such as the resiliency, and you could say not just resiliency, but the emotional intensity, the caustic side of Scorpio, the strong willpower of Scorpio, the very you could say the very strong transforming ability that Scorpio has, an ability to often inspire others to make major changes in one's life. So, and in the very strong, indomitable spirit that Scorpio has. So, anyway, well, the next thing is Saturn will be in Sagittarius as far as December goes, from the 1st until the 20th. So, the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, well, Scorpio might experience some limitations expressing that Sagittarius-like exuberance and ebullience and expansiveness in matters, in monetary matters at this time. There might feel some restrictions connected with one's self-worth and self-esteem as well. This could be a time too that, I mean, in some isolated cases, Scorpio might be taking care, maybe, or helping somebody that is debilitated that might be strongly tied in to their financial acumen. It could be somebody at work, or a coworker, or somebody that is involved with the money that Scorpio generates. And it could be something Sagittarius related, such as something connected with the hips and the thighs. So also, there could be some limitations as well of a monetary nature at this time, and really, and as far in possessions as well, it could be another thing that Scorpio might feel some limitations and some restrictions, and the monetary situation may be making Scorpio feel at this time a little bit more despondent than usual, since we are talking about Saturn. And anyway, well, as far as December goes, Saturn will be in Capricorn from the 20th until the 31st. So the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time for Scorpio. Well, in some cases, this could be about some government restriction as far as communications may go. That maybe in some cases, depending on the work Scorpio is doing, there might be some regulations that the government imposes on them as far as communications go, depending on the type of work Scorpio is doing. And this could be making Scorpio feel a little bit despondent or melancholy, but that is in some very, I guess you could say, some isolated cases, depending on the position or field of work Scorpio is involved in. Now, this could also be about some limitations and restrictions in their communications at this time, and might be making Scorpio, as I stated before, could be feeling somewhat dejected, despondent, or melancholy at this time, because that's Capricorn energy for you. But at the same time, this could be about taking a serious responsibility, perhaps in matters connected with neighbors. It could be siblings, if applicable. In some cases, Scorpio might find themselves taking care of a debilitated sibling or a neighbor, and it could be something connected with something Capricorn-like, such as the knees, or the knees or the bones. So anyway, well, the next thing is Uranus will still be in Aries, and the sixth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, well, Scorpio may be experiencing this time some kind of enigmatic or health situation. It could be, I mean, Uranus does rule electricity. It could be some nerve, in some cases it could be some nerve damage. I have Uranus almost exactly conjunct my sixth house in my natal chart, and I have extensive nerve damage, and I've had shock sensations like in my hands and in my arms due to the nerve damage. This could also be an illness might come on that might be of an unusual kind. It could be something connected with the face or the head, and considering we are talking about Aries energy as well, this could be also a time where Scorpio may very well be incorporating more ingenuity into their daily routine, or maybe something work-related where that could be innovative, such as making an innovation or invention, or doing that kind of work, or something else Uranus-like, such as the esoteric, like astrology, or something with computers, electronics, aeronautics, something, and it could just be something of just a different or unusual nature. So anyway, and also it could indicate that the work and employment situation may be a little bit erratic and sporadic at this time for Scorpio. Now, the next thing is Neptune will be in Pisces still, of course, so the fifth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, this could be perhaps a period where Scorpio may experience some delusion and confusion in matters of the heart, and love and romance matters. Even with children, in some cases, this could be perhaps a child or maybe even a romantic partner might become involved with drugs and or alcohol at this time. Maybe these people might seem a little bit unclear to Scorpio. at this time. It's also very it's important for Scorpio to be especially assiduous and prudent in gambling and speculation at this time, because Neptune can be about deception, and the fifth house is, of course, connected with gambling and speculation. And it could be that maybe Scorpio takes up some kind of Neptunian thing as a hobby at this time. Neptune / Pisces thing as a hobby. And it could be, I mean, for example, photography, the metaphysical, which can include astrology, chemistry, just something. It's something that could be Neptune, like magic, could be another, like things connected with illusion, doing things like a magician would do, illusionist. So anyway, well, the next thing is Pluto, of course, will still be in Capricorn, and the third house is what we emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, this could be, in some cases, this could obliterate communications. And I mean, Pluto, unlike Saturn, Pluto, it can be about destruction and obliteration. Saturn is more like limitation and restriction. But at the same time, Pluto is also about rebirth and regeneration. So if there are communications that are destroyed, situations with neighbors destroyed, I mean, Pluto can always be there for rebirth and regeneration. There could be something else to supplant them. So anyway, another thing, this could be about also, I mean, in some isolated cases, I don't like to use the dreaded D word, but it does apply. I mean, some cases this could indicate a death of a sibling and or a neighbor that might figure prominent in Scorpio's life scheme. This could be about, I mean, you talk about conversations, communications that could be very deep. Well, it could be about, I mean, Scorpio might be experiencing more of those than usual at this time. This could be, at the same time, to keep in mind that the third house is about long journeys. And I mean, this could, I'm sorry, third house could be, is about short journeys. And given that, this could be about, I mean, maybe you want to say short journeys that are destroyed, but it could indicate that maybe at this time, maybe to some degree they are, but in maybe the short journeys and errands one is running, it maybe comes to an end, but it doesn't mean that Scorpio couldn't go into perhaps another neighborhood and then be able to be doing that one more time. It might just be where there might, at this time, too, keep in mind that Pluto is also about power and control. So it could be at this time where maybe a sibling or a neighbor might be showing some kind of these domineering or controlling tendencies, or you may be showing it toward a neighbor or a sibling if applicable. Next thing is, well, the North Node, of course, still going to be in Leo. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time, well, Scorpio, I mean, North Node is about the future and where we're being directed towards. So at this time, well, Scorpio might be feeling, okay, there's this need now to go being directed toward getting accolades, recognition, and notoriety for one's career achievements. It could be about projecting more self-confidence and self-assuredness in really in showing that in one's public image. This could be taking pride and dignity in one's public image and one's reputation. It could also be about where Scorpio might feel that need right now as far as the future where they're going, to maybe be a little bit more extravagant, more generous in matters pertaining to the dominant parent, which is often the father. So anyway, it could also be about being, in some cases, being directed toward Leo-like type career, such as something connected with the theater, working with children, something of a dramatic nature. It could be being a showman, doing something that that attracts attention, something an actor or working in the acting or acting field, so entertainment field. Anyway, well, the next thing is the Black Moon Lilith will be in Capricorn still. So the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, I mean, the Black Moon wealth can often be about an unveiling or a revelation. This could be an unveiling, perhaps in some cases, of maybe a depressing, maybe mental outlook, or some kind of depression, or something that you know, I mean, third house is about rational thinking. This could be, you know, in some cases, this could be a revelation, you know, of some kind of despondency or depression Scorpio may be going through. In other cases, this could be perhaps an unveiling or revelation of maybe a sibling or even a neighbor that might be showing some very tyrannical and ruthless-like qualities, overambitious qualities, that working to meet one's political agenda, so to speak. And this could also be about, I mean, a formidable adversary that comes out that could be a sun, moon, or ascendant in Capricorn, or could simply embody those characteristics. And it could be someone in one's neighborhood, it could be a sibling, someone that the person may see in their short journeys, or it could even be somebody from their early education that they may have known. So anyway, well, the next thing is Chiron. Last but not least, Chiron will still be in Pisces, and the fifth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, this could be about perhaps experiencing some emotional wounds and suffering that might be connected maybe with gullibility or impressionability, that are from a child, or maybe matters connected with a child, maybe believing a lie a child told, or even a deceptive romantic partner. This could also be, in some cases, I mean, this can be about a literal physical wound that could be experienced from with a child or a romantic partner. It could be that maybe there's surgery at some point on you know, on the feet or toes of a romantic partner or a child in some isolated cases. This could be a time too where in some cases you might even have somebody in your love and romantic life, or a child may be going through, I mean, an alcohol or drug problem, and there could be some suffering, of course, because of that. So, and also about getting involved, maybe being deceived and getting involved in a speculative venture that is maybe where you face very strong repercussions, where somebody told you, well, don't worry, this will pan out very good, you can invest in this, you'll make a lot of money, and someone just did that just to you know, they just threw you a bum steer, so to speak. I mean, I'm just saying that as an example. But anyway, on the positive side, I mean, Chiron is the wounded healer, so Chiron can be about healing, and it can be about healing others that maybe that are going through some issues with their children, some suffering connected with their children, or with a romantic partner, or maybe even investing in the wrong thing and suffering due to maybe something of a speculative nature that didn't pan out or quite go according to plan, and doing so with a lot of that Pisces-like compassion and empathy and self-sacrifice. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Scorpio December 2017 horoscope forecast. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be giving you my Sagittarius December 2017 horoscope forecast. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.